The People's Joker, queer movie set in Batman universe, is pulled from TIFF over rights issues. Now, TIFF is the Toronto International Film Festival, I believe. I had to double check on that.
I can't think of something I would want to attend less.
Imagine just between...
Like, I would never go to Canada. I would never go to an artsy film festival.
Especially in Canada,
Between Venice and TIFF, imagine how many chiropractors are getting work from all the people standing and giving ovations.
No, that would be too naturopathic for them.
And not just that, but well, that or like I said, rotator cuff from patting themselves on the back the whole time.
You need a whole device for that.
It's a beautiful thing. So it says,
I want to pitch this movie though.
Okay, you want to go for it?
I think it kind of seems based
in its own unique way. Yeah,
Hear me out. With comedy criminalized in Gotham City, the show is the only government-sanctioned space for funny people, but only those who will toe the party line. Disillusioned by a botched audition, Vera partners with a bird-like slacker to found their own alternative comedy troupe, attracting not only a rogues gallery of would-be comics, but also the ire of a fascistic caped crusader. So it's a little bit...
The Batman as... Assuming they mean Batman as fascist, bite me.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly.
I think, like, the angle of it that I'm saying could be based is the alternative comedy troupe that isn't state-approved or state-sanctioned. Yes. And in reality, there is something similar to that today. Mm-hmm. It's just that they had to wokeify it to be, like... through a queer lens, like you said.
Vera Drew is the maker of this film, who is a trans individual.
So they're playing themselves?
They're playing, from what I understand, they didn't say the name of the character in the trailer. I recommend after this episode, you can go and watch this trailer.
The trailer was
bonkers.
trippy.
It's bonkers.
I kind of want to review it. Let me know if you guys would also like to see that.
Yep. So Variety contacted Warner Brothers for clarification and comment after they found out basically that Warner Brothers, which owns DC, holds the rights to the Batman universe, hasn't yet commented on the film, though it appears that the studio may have issued a cease and desist to block the movie's 3 further screenings. So the first thing I thought of is, how the hell did they think they were going to get away with this? These companies, DC particularly, is extremely tight about their litigious about their copyrights and their patents, or
I'm not
super
their IP. Knowledgeable about copyright laws, but supposedly
it would be intellectual property laws.
Supposedly, parody does fall under fair use of the intellectual property.
Does that mean they can sell it? I don't think you can sell it.
That's an interesting question, because I don't
even know if they are profit driven either, because it seems like maybe they're social agenda driven,
but it says
or care more about making an artistic statement than making a profit.
Well, then that's the other thing. It's like I watched the trailer and it's literally all of the costumes, all of the scenes are derived from versions of the character on film. So it's really weird how somebody spends all this money and works very, very hard on a budget to make something that they're extremely passionate about. And there is nothing harder than getting a film actually produced, filmed, edited, and put out. It is a monumental process to get through. Why would you do that with something that you don't even know for sure if you have the reasonable rights to use?
Is it possible that they did it at the last minute? Like they let them produce the whole thing and they're just like, oh, it's like we're going to pull out the rug from underneath you?
There be contracts before that?
It didn't look high budget.
Right.
No, it's not. But I'm saying that
it didn't look like slapped together last minute.
Obviously been working on it.
The CGI looks low budget, but that's because CGI costs a fortune. But
it's also kind of self-aware in that way. It's trying to like memeify the characters that they're making derivative stories out of. Do you know what I mean?
It's like extremely frenetic in its editing and pacing in the trailer, at least.
And that's totally on purpose.
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm intrigued.
I think maybe they thought they could slip this under the radar because it is kind of woke.
No. Maybe that they feel that that's a shield against them. No. These companies,
I mean, they're wrong.
They do not care. If you're coming between them and their money, they do not care. Put it this way: for a long time, the character of Batman couldn't even be used on television. You could
Interesting.
use
Didn't know that.
Bruce Wayne on television, but you couldn't use Batman on television because Batman is worth too much money to throw away on TV. David Zaslav, as far as I remember, just recently had them start to put together character Bibles of all of the. Do you guys know what a character Bible is? It's like a master list of all the traits, what's happened to a character. So for if
Oh,
future,
So they
Interesting.
can like differentiate canon and
Yes.
parody or fan fiction.
and a lot of people believe that was because they were going to start to license out the characters to non-DC, like Warner
That's
Brothers
a
was gonna,
terrible idea.
well, they take a cut of that the whole way.
course they do.
They take a cut of that the whole
to
way.
make money.
But the idea here is that the comics are so not profitable anyways that they'd be better off licensing
well,
it out.
it might be a good idea financially for DC, but I don't think it's a good idea if you want to preserve the fan base
Yeah.
around that character.
So the other thing that came to my mind was we had in the trailer, right at the bottom, it says, completely unauthorized by Detective Comics, Warner Brothers, and anyone claiming ownership of the trademarks therein. All materials used fall under fair use, protected under Title 17 U.S. Code 8. So that is, I just, like, it says for sale under UTA. The whole point of film festivals, as far as I know, behind
They're pitching it to people who can invest in it.
It's not
more
just-
than standing ovations, more than fanfare and press. They're trying to get money
Yes.
out of the people watching these private premieres.
I do like the idea of a guy who just like invites old people who have a hard time standing to his movies. So
It's
and
like the new Scam Likely.
yeah, and he forces them to come and he makes like he just emotionally bludgeons them with the most woke movie you've ever seen. So they have to stand and clap, and they're all like all their knees are shaking and about to give out. And he's like, no, you don't want to be the first one to sit down, do ya?
That was
Right.
such a Stalin thing, honestly. Yeah, that was really literally something that they did.
I don't think we can play the audio, but I am going to at least show you guys some of the acting wasn't horrible in this. But I wonder what that part is from. It is very clearly from Joker. Other
Sure.
ones, there's one that's very clearly supposed to be a Haunted Gay Ride production, so that's very on the money.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's very on the money.
At least they're not trying to hide it from you.
Yeah,
like
that's
they're
fair.
just out in the open.
I'm-
They are what they are.
It's not my type of that's very clearly supposed to be Jared Leto's Joker from
Yeah.
the Suicide Squad. It's a very interesting
not-
premise. I just don't think that if we reviewed it, it would be for the literally for the lulls. It wouldn't
And
be
not
'cause I
even
actually thought
hate
it was-
watching. I wouldn't even go into it with a negative perspective. I just think it's interesting because of the pacing of the trailers. So it's so trippy and
Weird,
disjointed.
yeah.
I read an article.
I'm interested in it.
I read an article recently that was it says, why do all of the porn parodies have better costumes than the actual movies?
It's a great question.
Because apparently the dude
Maybe there's more money in porn than there is in art
Maybe.
films.
and apparently the dude
yeah.
who like makes them for these big companies is like a huge comic book nerd. So he like has like he has like sketches of all of them in their original stages, and so and he just has the budget to actually make really really good costumes. They could have hired him. And gotten the Bane mask is actually it's kind
If
of
only
all
they
right.
could put their differences aside.
I know, right?
And
Is that what you're saying?
well, I'm just saying they could have hired him. I'm sure.
Look, I don't think they're trying to mask that this is derivative,
they're
that
not.
it's inspired in any way. I would have to watch it to know whether they can reasonably argue that it's fair use, though.
Also, it's just does
Because that was just fully imitating one of the scenes from the 2019 Joker.
And also the question is like, is there a huge market for this even? Like if you're wearing the concept of your movie, which is Gotham through the lens of a trans individual, is there a large market cap to watch that movie? That
Might be.
like
I don't know. It's a hard question because a lot of people are frustrated with how Marvel has so supposedly gone woke.
yeah, but Marvel they're
Since
even.
like Captain Marvel and then all of their films and TV shows since.
But most people say they're
But
queer
like,
baiting. I would
has
rather they just
DC gone the same direction?
in the comics. Yes, the comics are
And then
are
it's
insane
like-
right now.
If that's the case, then how is a film like this, an independent, unauthorized film like this, subversive in any way of the IP that they are inspired by and that they're parodying?
Because they're gonna show Batman as a fascist, and that's subversive, I guess.
That's really unique.
Is it? I mean, that's been explored countless times already.
That's a very big social media meme. like it's a very big Instagram and TikTok meme where it's like not putting your car. There's literally one that says
not putting your cart
back in Gotham, and a guy just leaves his cart, and then he turns around and Batman just punches him in the face.
Is that what Batman represents? I feel like people say
that's an
Superman is the fascistic cape.
Well,
you know,
Superman has the ability to be fascistic more easily
because he is
Batman.
Literally the Ubermensch.
Yes,
like that's the impression I got from interpretations of Superman, not Batman.
A lot of people they dumb down the concept of Batman to like he's a street level hero who fights street level crime. So
like
they
it's
always
cool
show
that he doesn't have powers.
Exactly.
That's what people like about
his
him.
His superpower is being rich.
And
it's great.
There's a storyline in an old Justice League. It's both in a comic and in one of the animated movies. Gosh, one of the ones with the Jokers. So basically he has like a list. Oh, it's like the Judas contract. He has a list of all he's made up lists on how he could defeat all members of the Justice League if something were to happen to them. So he has like a plan. If any superhero person becomes evil or turns evil or gets blackmailed, he can stop any of them if he needs to at any time.
Interesting.
And there's one where they basically that list gets stolen and they use it against the Justice League. So that's like he is. For a human character, he is objectively considered overpowered because he's the smartest man in the world. He's the world's greatest detective. He's a gazillionaire. But the idea that he's a fascist to like people stealing a loaf of bread, which is how they always make the jokes on social media.
Right.
That's just a bunch of weirdo socialists who are using modern day characters. No, that's actually how I see it because it's always people with the same types of accounts who make those jokes, right? So
anime profile pictures.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, that's where you'll see it if you see it reposted on Twitter for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the idea that he would just do that when that's not really what you see in the comics. It's usually him taking on street level villains that are still very much doing evil things. Mm-hmm. And I haven't read the comics in a long time, but I love the animated movies far more than any of the live action movies, even though I won't tell Dane that because I have to hold up my love for Ben Affleck. But
I appreciate that he's only as super powered as any real person can be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and my guess is he's not hugely featured in this.
No.
But it's an interesting
concept. I think
concept.
This is more playing off of the memification of the Joker and all of the iterations thereof.
Does this seem a little self-aware to you guys? Like
yes.
The whole queer thing?
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. I am in huge favor of self-awareness in general.
It's a self-deprecating thing,
kind of
I
interesting.
think.
I would rather they did this and make it and wear your heart on your sleeve with what you're going to make.
Right.
Then
don't praxis us.
Then do a bunch of advertising about it being that way and have it barely be a story point, which is even more annoying. I would rather they did this. Is it something that I would necessarily go out and look for? Probably not, but it could be interesting. But it's not mass. It doesn't have the mass appeal.
Well, I think it's cool that it has a cult fan base right now. Yeah. I'll read the tweet from Vera Drew. Yep. I have no clue how today goes. This was yesterday, by the way. How today goes, and my team wants me to say nothing, of course, so I'll stay vague. But whatever happens in the next few hours, I want you to know if you've been waiting and aching to watch our movie, you're going to get to soon. Stay tuned and stay with me. Need your help.
It should be very interesting. I wish we could play the trailer, but I'm not sure if we can. But I recommend you guys go out and check that out. But basically, I looked up on the Toronto International Film Festival's website, and it says, the filmmaker has withdrawn this film due to rights issues. We apologize for any inconvenience. Current ticket holders will receive an email from TIFF Customer Relations. So, like I said...
It's interesting that the film festival didn't see a problem on the way there immediately.
Yeah. And like I said, Warner Brothers and DC in general are very, very protective of their IP, so I never saw this working in any real sense. Maybe I'm wrong. I know there's a lot of Batman fan films online that you can watch, like on YouTube, like very, very well done ones. But like I said, if it's in a film festival, I thought the purpose of a film festival was to sell. I guess those aren't parodies. Those are actually supposed to be like telling alternate stories. Maybe it's like they would have to quantify what about this
there
makes
are
it a
definitely
parody.
Elements of it that parody the Joker as a political rebel, maybe.
Yeah.
Like that self-aware humor about it is what draws me into it.
Yep. So
personally,
definitely not something I would have normally thought was getting made, but
I also think it's perfect for the theme of the film, and the plot of it, from what it sounds like, that they are kind of getting silenced by a mega corporation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Really interesting, right? Yeah.
That is
Not the state, but a mega corporation, which might as well be the same thing these days.
These days,
Right.
it's the same thing, anyways.
So
Yeah.
to me, that also seems a little self-aware of what's happening right now. And I don't know. There's probably no bent toward conservatism at all from this person.
No, I
They're-
doubt it, yeah.
I'm sure.
I highly doubt that.
But
I think-
sometimes we accidentally agree.
Right, exactly. And I feel like if you highlight this, people are going to be like, oh, that's what happened to fill in the blank, Alex Jones, whoever has been censored lately. And everyone's like, oh, interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. And I think there may be a market to it just because all the Zoomers are being steeped in gender ideology right now. I don't know.
We just got a phantom that just went off.
Oh,
The
God.
There
gave
was
us
no
some
super
money.
chat. It just went off
just
for no
went
reason.
we have a ghost in here. Where's Shane Cashman?
I know, right?
Yikes.
Get in
Where the
here.
heck is Shane Cashman?
Yes.
You wanna
He's in the room with us.
He is, yeah.
Right now.
Is Shane Cashman in the room with you right now? Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.